Hello, everyone, and welcome to another live episode of the Outlaw Nation Show here on the Outlaw Nation channel. I am the Outlaw John Rocha, excited tonight to be welcoming my guest to the show. But before we give him his introduction and get him on here to have a little fun with us, talking all kinds of things, Schmoedown, movies, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, I want to talk to you all, and thank you very much for joining us live right off the bat, off the top of the show. Always appreciate those of you who are waiting for the show to start and come on in. You don't want to miss 1 second of the show. It means a lot to me as we're building this thing here on the Outlaw Nation channel. We're coming close to 17,000 subscribers, ladies and gentlemen. I know for some people that's pocket change, but for a guy like me building this from the bottom up, brick by brick, it means a lot. So if some of you are watching right now who haven't subscribed, do me a massive favor. Do the whole nation a massive favor. The Outlaw Nation, go down there, hit that red button, hit that subscribe button, and right off the bat, hit that like button. Look, you know you're going to like the show already, so why waste time thinking about it later? You know how it gets. You procrastinate, you forget. Do it now. Hit that like button now. Give us some love. Also, remember, the Streamlabs and the SuperChats are going to be open all night tonight, and you know my guest, he's going to have some fun things to talk about. We've set goals. There's a $100 goal, $200 goal, and a $300 goal tonight. And you know my guest, PJ Campbell, is going to have some stories to tell you all when we get to those goals. Some very interesting stories. He'll tease them as we go along tonight during the show. If you're a Schmoedown fan, if you're a Schmoedown watcher, welcome to the show. If you're a fan of movies, welcome to the show. You're in the right place. If you're a fan of two guys just talking about life and revisiting their friendship and having fun because you've had a rough day and you need someplace to relax and put your feet up, maybe open a beer, pour a drink, whatever, you've come to the right place. We're going to take care of you. Relax, settle into your chair, feel the weight of the cushion grabbing your butt ever so softly as you relax. Put your legs up, for God's sakes. Stretch them out a little bit and have a little fun with us tonight. And send in your Streamlabs and Super Chats. Whatever questions are come up as we're going along during the show, do us a massive favor. Send in those Streamlabs and Super Chats so we can answer them here on the show. I am coming to you from a very wet office. I was rushing. I was on the phone with my mom. I hadn't talked to my mom in a few days. She was asking me all about my Moderna vaccine stuff. And I accidentally, as I was disconnecting a cord on the computer, knocked over my Bubba full of iced tea. And now I'm freezing left and right. I don't know what's going on there, but I knocked over my Bubba iced tea here. Why do I keep freezing? Now that's happening? Now I'm freezing all over the place? Lord God Almighty. Well, it's a hell of a show. It's a hell of a show. Let's see how many we got people joining us tonight. We've already got, 24 people and 23 likes. That's how you do it. For every person that comes in, hit that like button right off the bat and enjoy your life. So just some programming note before we bring on my friend of years and my friend of tears and beers. Tomorrow on the program, tomorrow on the Outlaw Nation Show, the Geek Buddies are back with our regular show tomorrow. Hope you've been enjoying our Bad Batch reviews. Those are up there for you to enjoy, those spoiler reviews. Every episode, we're breaking them down with possible future Star Wars Schmoedown champ Laura Kelly. She's been joining us throughout the whole season and will join us for the entire season. And we'll probably do our standard live review of the finale later on when it's over. Of course, we've got Loki coming up really soon, just a couple of weeks away from Loki. Emma Fife will be back to do those reviews with us, so that's going to be a lot of fun as well. Now, and on Thursday, we got, I think tomorrow night we're doing a Jedi Way with me and Laura Kelly. We're breaking down Tarkin, the history of Grand Moff Tarkin from childhood to where he is throughout the Star Wars universe, Bad Batch, and then where he ended up, of course, in A New Hope, unfortunately, on that Death Star when he met his untimely, but some would say probably warranted demise. So we'll be talking all of that, and I believe it'll be a live show. So look for that as well. Also, if you're a top 10 $10 and above patron, and if you're not, why aren't you? This is our week to do our live show on Thursday at noon. So in a couple of days, Thursday at noon, we'll be doing our live show for you all. So that's only for the $10 above patrons. You get to watch the show. You get to be brought in with your comments about our lists. You get to put us down. You get to lift us up, whatever you want to do. That's your perk you get when you're a $10 and above top 10 patron. And of course, if you're an Outlaw Nation patron, we did already our hangout last night. We'll be doing our on-camera Zoom hangout tomorrow night, and that's been a lot of fun. And for those of you who are Schmoedown fans, if you're not a patron of the Outlaw Nation, I don't know why, because $10 or $5 and above gives you access to the possibility of training with me. If you pass all the background checks, that means you don't have any affiliation to Ben Bateman, Dan Merle, that damn dungeon. You get to come and help me train for the match coming up on June 4th. You know I need it. Ben Bateman already talking his mess. He's got a whole show to talk about himself all day and all night. So I've heard already all the stuff he's been saying on multiple YouTube channels. But let him talk. All that matters is when the ring door closes and we're inside that cage, I'm climbing over the top and my feet are hitting the ground first. And you can make that happen as an Outlaw Nation patron. On Thursday, we got our Impolite Truths, me and Jordan Adeliano doing our thing. And then on Friday, the new show with me and Wendy Lee. John and Wendy Explain the World at 3 p.m. PT. And on Saturday, we're doing our Strong Style Pro Wrestling show that we do every week here on the channel. Saturday at noon and at 3 p.m. PT, a show I have nothing to do with other than executive producing it. The Ultimate Schmoedown After Show is there as well. So lot going on. Plus, I'll be having trailers, reactions this week. I'm sure I'll be having some reviews for A Quiet Place Part 2, which I went to last night. Woo! My balls are still shaking from the scares in that movie. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a tight, or as what does it say? A toit. As Gold Member once said, it's a toit 90 minutes. A toit 90 minutes. And you are in and out, and you're boned. You're walking out of the theater like the old Bugs Bunny cartoon shaking. It is so well done. That's my mini review for you, but I'll do a longer review later on. I'll probably review In the Heights as well this week. And if I get a chance to go see Fast 9 in the next couple of weeks, I'll give you a review of that as well. Anyway, all right, that's all the mishmash and the jibba jabba for the opening of the show. Love you madly. Thank you so much. Let's bring on my guest today. He is the Head Schmoedown Writer. He is the owner, operator, CEO of the PJ Campbell Network, and most importantly to me, he's my friend. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the show without further ado, PJ Campbell. What's up, dude?
What is up, man? It's so good to see you. Like,
You too.
You're going through all your stuff, and I'm just like, you're like me. You just keep working. You never
That's
stop.
all. I'm a blue collar boy.
I know, man.
Me that way.
I get it. That's how it is. But
yeah,
man, it's so good to see you. Like outside of the ring, like actually hanging out because it's been a little while.
Yeah, I know. It has been a little while. How are you? How are things? I love the shirt you're wearing. It's awesome red on you. Respect.
Yeah, dude. I got into baseball tees during the pandemic. Like they're so comfortable and there's just something about it. They just fit right. And this Killer Clowns one, because I've always loved the Killer Clowns movie, like just one that stayed with me. And so I like it. But you know, man, I'm good. Just kind of, it's weird. The world's starting to get back together. And now I'm like, oh shit. That means I actually have to like get back together because I got used to living this and doing being inside, and like I was only seeing Tim Franco, and now it's like, oh wait, I actually have to interact with humans again. So, you know, but I think towards the end of the year, I got a little, I'd been working out a lot and like eating better. And then the election stuff started to happen and my stress level was going through the roof. And so I'd kind of fallen off and I was eating a little more sweets and,
of course,
you know, but now I've gotten back on it and I'm riding and biking every day and lifting weights again. And just, I feel good, man. I feel good.
How are things overall? Like, this is such a interesting time in your life, man, because you are stepping in. You've taken over the last couple of years. You've taken over from Chris Skaliski, the running of the question. Like, you were a question writer and then found your way into this position as the Head Schmoedown Writer. And I would like, we've had what, a year and a half of you being the Head Schmoedown Writer at this point. Is that correct on that? Am I right on that?
Yeah, almost exactly now, right? Because we're almost in June. I started kind of at the tail end of December of 2019 as we were curtailing into 2020.
Yeah. So I got to ask you right off the bat, man, what has changed this year to the first year? Because I know you got a good heart, but I know you're a competitive person. That's why you got a Yankees hat on. You like to win. You like to put out the best product possible on the field, no matter what the cost. So what has it been like for you to transition into your second year? You know, we started going virtual halfway through last year. Are you still kind of finding your footing? Are you still figuring this game out as we are figuring you out, and what questions you might be asking and what questions your question writers are asking? Or are you just kind of like navigating this organically as it goes along and you're growing in confidence?
I'm growing in confidence a lot more. Just because last year it was weird. Like you said, like we kind of got thrown a curveball. And the first thing that happened, like once we were like, we're doing digital, it became Star Wars. And they were like, we're doing a Star Wars tournament. And I had zero clue of really how we're going to handle and navigate that. And so much of last year ended up being tournament style stuff that it took me a little while to like get my bearings. And I was coming into a team that I didn't really know anyone. Like we didn't really interact in a way like Chris and I had interacted, but I never talked with the other writers. And so it took us a little bit to find a groove and like actually start talking. But this, like towards the end of last year, I felt like we started to gel. We were getting on calls and we were kind of going through things. And this year, it's like we're always emailing, we're always talking, things start to work out. And like we kind of get each other's brains, and we can always be like, you know, I like where your head's at. However, maybe that's not the way this question should go. Like, let's find another way to spin it, because you also know me. I want this game to be the best it is, and I don't want to screw people over. And sometimes I think some of the writers like to get cocky because they like, you know, I get it, because we're in a position where it's like, we love movies. So let's do something super like, I mean, I'll say that Scott Glenn question that poor Janine got in The Hunt for Red October was one that I had written because I think about that movie and he's one of the three main characters to me. Like, to me, that's not a hard question, but then I think about it and it's like, there was probably a better way for me to do that.
I don't know. I think it's an absolutely gettable 5. Sure. It's John McTiernan. It's one of the best movies of the 1980s. Scott Glenn is still working today. He was in Silence of the Lambs. So, you know, these are gettable movies if you're willing to do the studying. Look, I know what it's like to get bit by a 5. I know what it's like to get a 5 that everyone else thinks is easy as hell or hard as hell, and you think it's easy. I know that game. So you just never know. It's all relative. For sure, depending on your movie experience, right? And
that's it. And like the one thing that you and I had talked about privately, because you know, I've been friends with you for a long time. And when I was kind of like the gym locker boy for the long time at the Schmoedown. Like anyone who doesn't know, like I was always just hanging around and I was trying to help out behind the scenes where I could before I fell into writing and so on and so forth, and like fell upwards. And one of the things that I was really bent on doing was trying to make sure too that like I wanted to feel like the game was evolving into the world of film. To me, it's really important. I treat it like film school because I think that it became like a running joke a lot of the time. And this is not a dig at Chris. Chris did great work. But people could pinpoint when he was watching things or like the stuff that he liked, because a lot of that stuff would come up very frequently. And every once in a while, stuff still comes up kind of concurrent, because people also forget we bulk shoot a lot, and so we don't necessarily put the questions together in that capacity. It's just you're always going and you just kind of write things. But I like how expanded it feels. I think that like adding martial arts movies and black cinema, and even what I did to IG, like it feels more cultured. As weird as that sounds, and that was really important to me. And I just want you guys to have fun. I just want the game to be fun, man.
I think it's fun. And look, what's a game like this is always going to have controversy. A game like this is always going to have players feeling like, oh, hey, why is that person getting a question that it's so easy versus the other person who's getting a question so hard? Like, you know, we had an exchange about the Manchurian Candidate on text. From the Dan and Ben match. He's literally the titular character of the movie. And in my mind, I'm like, how is that a 5? And then you said, well, it's been a number of years since that film came out, and how many people have really watched it. So it's all a matter of how it falls for you, you know. And our 5, I would argue, was a little bit tougher, but it was still gettable because we got it. So I mean, it's all relative to what you get. For as last year, you know, like that Minority Report question, that was a tough one for me to swallow. But in the end, it's like we all have to understand as players, and it does kind of suck a little bit for us because we prepare so hard, is that we have no idea what the questions are going to be, and we can't control it. So all we can do is try to be as prepared as possible. But in the end, even if one of us was to take over as question writer, there would absolutely be people who would be like on the other side of it going, that's a terrible 5, or that's a great 5, or what are you complaining about? So there's no winning in this situation. You just try to do the best you can, I imagine.
Every time. And I love the fans. I've had to try so hard to stay out of the comments, and it's so hard for me because there's always those people, man. A lot of the time it's the usual suspects at this point, not like the faction, the usual suspects, but there's a select group of people that I can see in almost every comment section, whether it's whatever it is, and it's like, guys, I am trying so hard. And the team is trying so hard. And I know that for some of us it comes so natural and so easy, but they also don't remember, when you're under the lights, it's very different. Yeah.
Absolutely. You don't know. And that's the thing and that's what I've been kind of transitioning. This year has been so much fun for me because it started out a little bit stressed out because I didn't know how the match was going to go with Liz. But then when JT and I did our match, I've had a lot of fun playing with JT. Even the loss with Dan and Ben. Look, it sucks to lose. It always sucks to lose. But I didn't go out on questions that I knew. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So there's a certain level of there's only so much you can prepare. There's only so much you can know. And if the questions fall right to you, there's about 5,000 other questions that could have landed, I would have nailed. But I just didn't know it. And so sometimes that's the way the ball bounces. And the Lady Outlaw has been so circumspect with me. She's been great perspective. She says, it just wasn't your day. And that's okay, because you've had many days where it has been your day. It just wasn't your day. And you learn the lessons and you maybe adjust some of the training and then go back in the ring again. And if I lose to Ben, it just wasn't my day. And I go back in the ring again. So it's a new fun. And who knows if this is my last year or not, but I'm certainly having the most fun I've had since maybe the first year I played in the Schmoedown. The nerves are there. But the joy is there too. Sorry.
I can tell. No, I was going to say, I can tell because I've known you a long time. And the thing is we've ebbed and flowed together, in your feelings. Cause I've been days with you where you're like, dude, I'm done. And I don't mind. It's one of those things where it's no, dude, I know how much you care about this. And it's so different this year because last year, especially with the digital age and how everything had been going, I could tell you were at a rope. You were just this is it. And I was like, nah, that's not you. That if you're going to go out, at least give it your all. And you're smiling and you're having so much fun. It's nice for me because I also don't worry that you're going to stroke out on me on camera. Because we've all seen it. We've all seen players get taken to their limit to the point that you're afraid of what's next.
Yeah. I mean, if you watch the Marisol and Janine match, can we talk about that? Or is that still under pay-per-view embargo? I don't remember.
I think it's still pay-per-view embargo.
Okay. All right.
We'll be careful. Anything. But
all I'll say is there's emotions in that match. Really real emotions.
Real emotions.
Yeah. And this game asks so much of you, but it can also deliver so much to you as well. Depending on how you play it, depending on how the thing goes, and depending on how the fans react to you. I'm a veteran now, man. I'm an old man hanging around, having fun, going toe to toe with the greats, and it's been a blast this year. And who knows how the year is going to end up, but I'm having a great time, and I'm watching the other people come into this league and really understand the weight of the game and treat it with the respect that it deserves. And don't use it as something to build their resume off of. And that's been nice to see. It hasn't always been the case. So it's nice to see it this year for sure.
I'm totally with you. And I think that was one of the cool things about some of the rookie class this year was that it felt like, at least so far from all the rookies we've seen, they respect the hell out of the game. They're coming in, they know the game, they care about the game. And it's a nice feeling because also we don't have to put a lot of them through this ringer of this is how the game works. No, they're ready. They're prepared. They know what it's like. And that's a cool feeling, man.
Yeah. That's why I enjoy watching people's matches this year. I'm watching a lot of the rookie matches. I mean, of course I'm fast forwarding through stuff, but I'm watching the match, the actual questions and seeing how they're going back and forth and how they're reacting to things. And I'm quietly becoming fans of a number of the new players in the league. And it's been a joy to watch. You got to transition. This is I've been doing this 7 fucking seasons, PJ. At some point, you're I got to lay down the shield and let someone else carry it. for a while. Danny Boy's still hanging out there, winning belts, doing his thing. And, Ben wants to get another belt to legitimize himself a little bit more. And so you see Oyama wants his title back. Man, people forget it's been almost 2 years since Oyama had that belt, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget. So will he get a shot if he takes care of business against Ethan and either me or Ben after that? Who knows? So there's a lot of storylines here that are fun to play around and watch for sure. What is when you're approaching a rookies match versus like a match like Dan and Ben and me and JTE? Is there a certain level of care that you have in the do you hand off some responsibility to your other writers to kind of handle the rookies matches while you focus on the bigger matches, or do you find that it's like a team effort every match and you're monitoring the questions to make sure they fit in terms of level of difficulty for the respective matches?
I try to monitor everything. It's a pretty big team effort, but I get very hands-on, especially for rookie matches and for the big matches. The reason being is that with the match like your guys's, like your team match, I know all the players and I've known you guys a long time. So I know that I can hone in on certain things where I'm like, it's going to push a little in a round one, but with these guys, I can do it. With the rookies, it's a little different because you don't know what you're getting into and you don't know where their strengths lie. You don't want anyone to get blown out. It's a much different line where it's like, is this too hard? Now we need to pull back a little bit. What is, how do we handle that? Yeah. And there's a very specific fine line, I feel like, of I don't want to hand a match, but I don't also want to screw you over. And like the rookies are really showing up though too. Like there's not been a single match where I've been like, God, man, like what's going on? No, they're coming in and they're playing. And that's pretty incredible considering I try to push them a little bit, but they're showing their knowledge in cool ways.
Yeah. And I like to see that the rookies are understanding, like you can watch it from the sidelines all you want, completely different ball game. Once the pressure is on, once the questions are being asked, once you're dealing with Mark Ellis's jokes and diatribes and Christian Harloff's delivery. And then of course, some of the technical issues that we sometimes have to override when we're doing these things virtually. There's a lot that you have to navigate now. And the rooks are getting a crash course in essence in what that feels like and what that looks like. So I hope they appreciate that because it ain't easy. It's not supposed to be easy. The greats rise, as Randy Savage once said, the cream always rises to the top. And that's how it works here in this business. And yes, it's a little bit of luck. It's a little bit of situational awareness, and it's a lot of knowledge. That's what it is that gets you into certain positions to win belts, and that's what matters in the end for a lot of people. And I've been encouraged by it. Peggy Gubbins is in there. Oh, Peggy Gubbins.
Hey,
she says,
up, Peggy?
She says emotions in a Schmoedown match. Nah, I don't buy it. That's right, Peggy. That's right. I mean, Peggy is a mess when I watch her. She's a player after my own heart because I love that she's like, oh. And I love the board on her face. Yes. I love all of it. It's hilarious. I love it.
Her second match went into sudden death.
Yes.
Like, how many rookies can say that your second match went to sudden death? Are you kidding?
Yeah, that's not easy.
Not easy, man. She came to play.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of them have, and it's been fun to watch. What is the most difficult thing for you in this second year? And we're only halfway through the second year, as we mentioned earlier. But what is the most difficult thing for you as you're in your second year as the Head Schmoedown, right?
It's still a little bit of the balance, if you will. And a little bit of that is just trying to make sure that I feel like everyone's getting level questions. That's like super important to me. Because I don't want people to feel like that people aren't getting fair questions. I don't want people to feel like one competitor is getting like, favored over another. It should never feel like that. And so that I've worked really hard on that. And it's still a thing where like it can be a work in progress because you can look at one round two that you'd written and it's like, oh, maybe not. Maybe I need to hone in on some stuff. And then Star Wars, because now these freaking Star Wars competitors, man, like God bless that they know Star Wars so well, but my God, my life is so hard.
I don't know where you find the question. I don't know if there's any questions left for you guys. I'm always amazed at how many questions you guys have to ask because I'm like, how can there possibly be still questions left in all 9 of these movies after all these matches that we've had. You know, in IG with singles or teams, there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of movies to choose from. But with Star Wars, it's 10 movies. It's not a lot of stuff to choose from. So it's incredible that you all are still coming up with some tough questions and some tough fibers for sure.
It's so difficult, man. Like, and I like Star Wars, but even sometimes I'm writing the stuff and it feels like I'm writing Greek. Like, I don't know. Is this right? I hope it's right. And if it's not, they're going to challenge it later. Like, you know what I mean? It's just, I have these questions now that are like my super secret sudden death questions that I just have waiting, which are like ridiculous questions that if we ever get near one of those like 5150s again, I've got these ones that I'm waiting that are like lock and key where I'm like, let's go, pop it open. Let's see what happens.
Well, 5150 is a designation for crazy. So I think that's the perfect place to unlock those questions for sure. And yes, I'm sorry, Peggy, 11 Star Wars movies. I know, Peggy. Hey, look, Peggy got a question right. Good job, Peggy.
Good job,
anyway, I'm just busting your balls. Anyway, it's good stuff. And ladies and gentlemen, let me see. We got a Streamlab that came through in a super chat. Chris Taylor says, I need to see PJ on the Cinephiles. Oh, yeah. Maybe giving his thoughts on Richard Linklater's Before Sunrise. Yeah, that could be fun. Absolutely.
That would be fun, man.
I'm sure I can talk to Steve and make that happen. Steve is very open for us to bring guests onto the show, especially new guests. So, and we haven't done Before Sunrise. Is that one of your favorite movies?
One of my favorites, man. I'm a big Linklater guy. I think that the 90s, like, indie craze was super cool because we got Rodriguez, Linklater, Kevin Smith, Tarantino. Like, they all kind of came in at the same time.
Yeah.
And that boom right there with Sunrise and El Mariachi and Pulp Fiction and Clerks, like, it redefined an entire generation. And I was just young enough, but also just old enough that I kind of rode that wave going into the 2000s, and I followed them ever since. But Linklater, especially, like, you look at Before Sunrise, but then dude also can do School of Rock.
Right.
And Bad News Bears.
Last Flag Flying.
Yeah, Last Flag Flying, which you and I bonded over very early on in our friendship, which was so cool. And, like, the dude is great. And, of course, Dazed and Confused. Like, who doesn't love Dazed and Confused? Like, that's one of the all-time great coming-of-age films.
Well, and don't leave out Soderbergh. He was also around the indie time with Sex, Lies, and Videotape. So there's a lot of great filmmakers who popped up during that 90s time that are still working today. Who's the guy that directed The Yards and Little Odessa? He's still doing stuff nowadays as well. So you just never know.
Gus Van Sant too. Like, dude came up right around the same time.
Gus Van Sant. That's right.
Everything, man. They're all out there. The 90s was cool. It gave us a lot of cool stuff, man.
Matt Thomas says there were 12 Star Wars movies. Don't forget the Clone Wars. Well, Peggy, I'm sorry. You didn't get that question right. So it was 12 Star Wars.
Well, Matt, if we want to get technical, then there's also 2 Ewok movies, whether you want to consider them canon or not.
Suck 14. It, Matt. 14, Matt. Suck it. You can find them on Disney Plus now, Matt, and Tartakovsky's Clone Wars, which was great to watch.
So good.
We talked about that on Jedi Way with Laura a few weeks ago. It was a blast to rewatch those again, especially because they're all together. So you can just enjoy them back to back to back for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, please, we're 30 minutes into the show. We've only got one Streamlab, one super chat. I know you all are watching. Send in some support here. What questions do you have? You have the Head Schmoedown Writer here. What questions do you have about the game, about the controversies in the game, about some of the way things went down? PJ will be able to answer those questions to the extent that he can answer those questions without getting himself in trouble, but he's open to it. And like we said, what do we got at the $100, $200? What do you got here, PJ? We set out these goals. I'm not sure if we're going to hit them, but it's good to have goals in life. 100, 200, and 300. What do you got?
I got some fun. I got some behind the scenes Schmoedown stories about maybe our first travel trip to the East Coast. I've got literally running into a random celebrity, literally, that would make people maybe laugh. And it might have been at an old event when we used to do the Collider screenings, if you remember those.
Oh, yeah.
I've got, and then I've got one about maybe I met very cool SNL actor on the lot of one of the studios at a press screening that I may have ended up watching a movie with him.
Come on, people. At the $100 level mark, I think we're going to tell the story how PJ and I first met each other. Trust me, it's a fucking hell of a story. You don't want to miss this story. Trust me, it's a good one. So please send in your Streamlabs, send in your super chats. Streamlabs address right above PJ's head. It's also in the description of this video. Video. And what do I got to put this in the chat. My producer didn't remind me to put this in the chat. I got to have a talk with him. I don't know what's going on with my producer, but maybe there's some conversations we need to be having. He's caught up on this. He's caught up on the Yankees 6-game winning streak. And he's not focusing on his job. And I get it. The Yankees go on 6-game winning streaks all the time, but is it that big of a deal? We're the best ever. Why is that such a big deal, for God's sakes?
I mean, I know we've had a rough season, and it's great when we start to get on the streak, but like, don't let it go to your head. Like, that's all I'm saying. You know, we've been here, man.
We're supposed to have 6-game winning streaks. Yeah. That's the point of it all, you know. Exactly. So anyway, he should have reminded me. But anyway, I will be putting this in the chat for anyone who wants to see it pinned in the chat to remind you to send in your Streamlabs or your super chats. All right, here we go. We got one super chat that just came in. Let me read it in just a second after I pin it in here. Where is it? There we go. Message pinned. All right, here we go. Let's see what we got. And that's from Jay Alexander. Says, we need a film noir slice. Oh, PJ, first of all, address this comment. But second of all, how tired are you of hearing people? You know, there are 175 slices. At least that's what it feels like, ladies and gentlemen. So what the fuck are you talking about? There's 100. Do you want to see us die? What do we have to become? Who do we have to become? Brainiac? Do we have to become Brainiac to play in this game? It's insane. Would you want to see a film noir slice?
I mean, I'm not against it. But there's some other stuff that I actually have my eye on that for next season that would kind of fit the era, at least. I really want to get into more golden era Hollywood. Like one of my big things, obviously, I wanted Capra and I wanted Jimmy Stewart. And so those were some of my big ones. But Katharine Hepburn's on my mind. Abbott and Costello, which I think has been overlooked for a long time, which could be a great slice. And I think
Bibbs just shot up in bed.
Yeah, that he was like, "What? Abbott and Costello?"
Yeah.
I think that Humphrey Bogart should probably get some love. And I've got my eye on. I know that we've talked a little bit about doing a little more like franchise expansion type stuff. Like we've talked about the potential of Rocky. You and I had even talked about that behind the scenes. Fast and the Furious is one, but one I'm considering also is Universal Monsters. Oh, yeah. I think that would be very cool because it's very different than just like the pure horror slice.
Right. You'd have to go to Japan if you're talking Universal Monsters. Well, Universal Monsters is great because you kind of figuring out what films from Japan came over and qualify for that. So it's a lot. And you think the wheel is crazy, man. There's so many categories, PJ.
I know,
man. You
can
only study so much. That's
why I like look, a great broad slice is fantastic, but I'm so much more into doing these like defined slices because I think it's better for you guys too. As weird as that might sound, like at least when you can look at something like you hit comedies starts all the way back to silent film. Like you're suddenly this thing could span 100 years, but with something like a Reese Witherspoon or Abbott Costello or Matthew McConaughey, it's very defined. Like I'm not one who's trying to pull stuff over on anyone. So at least you kind of know, like, this is the narrow window that I'm looking at. So it's not super terrible. I hope. I don't know.
Right. We shall see. I can see the young people going, damn it. But hey, if I got to study your young adult movies, maybe you can study some of my film noir movies. That's a good balance. Yeah.
Maybe we get some classics in them.
We got some Streamlabs that have come through here. PJ Alan Smithy donated. Thanks, Alan Smithy. He said, hey, Rocha and PJ, I'm wondering, are you as good at answering movie trivia questions as you are at writing them? I would assume that the two things go hand in hand. Will we get a question writer exhibition match? That sounds like fun. I feel like Abigail Frill would love a question writer exhibition match. I feel like
her and Jeremy definitely want it. Once upon a time when we used to do stuff before I was like really heavily writing, I would sit behind the scenes with Rocha and I would play really well.
I remember that.
Right. I can't do it anymore because you're spending so much time writing. A lot of it starts to like stuff that I would know off the top of my head is so much harder to pull because there's too much stuff floating around now. Because I spend so much time working on the doc that it's like I can visualize the person that I'm thinking of, or sometimes I can like get close to the movie I'm thinking of, but sometimes it just doesn't pull the same way. And that's because I'm working all the time. I'm always writing stuff, and it starts to bleed together.
Yeah. Well, if there's any kind of compliment for you with how things are going this year, I know I say this all the time in interviews, but I've never meant it more than this year. I have studied in ways that I have never studied in my entire life. The amount of hours, like for example, today I drove 45 minutes to an outlet mall, and I was being quizzed for the entire 45 minutes there, and for about 30 minutes as I was walking the mall doing some shopping, and then had just a fun conversation, and then on the drive back got quizzed again with a bunch of questions. So it's like I am constantly using any hour that I can find in my busy ass week to kind of sit down and try to study, because you just never know what's going to pop up. And, you know, those things fall through the cracks, like the director of Bad Times at El Royale. I had heard about that film how many times? And Dan claimed that someone had asked the question. Oh, no, it was the Love, Simon. Dan claimed that somebody had asked the question in another match. So I was like, damn it, I should have watched other matches. So no matter how much I'm studying, there's still that extra amount that you could be doing. And so that's what I'm trying. I'm like, to me, I'm like working on my swing this year. That's what I'm doing. And last year was me kind of calibrating. This year's me working on my swing. And I've started out well, but I took that loss and hoping I can, show up on June 4th and deliver a damn good match, win or lose, deliver a damn good match. That's where I want to be. But it's also fascinating, to be honest with you, to spend this much time studying for it. And it's fun. It's fun again, which is great. So,
well, I mean, look, you guys pushed me to do that though, too. Like you said the same thing. Like last year was me calibrating. This year's me taking the swings with the competitors. And like, I've felt the groove. Like it's a very similar thing. And that the biggest compliment I can get from you is that look how you're studying. That means that look how I'm pushing you. And so I think that means that we made something special. Like to me, that matters.
Yeah. Yeah. Give me that homework. Jay Alexander says, I just want more awareness for history of film.
Me too, man.
Absolutely, Jay. You're right. It's not all, the Labyrinth is not the end all be all of film. I agree with you, Jay Alexander. I agree with what you're saying.
Like I said earlier, world awareness too. Martial arts movies, stuff like that matters to me. That's why I put it this year, because I love martial arts movies. I grew up watching so many of those older martial arts films. That was a huge part of my upbringing. So I wanted to bring love to that. Let's shine a light on it. It's great. Yeah.
Oh, you should have, man. We were like dogs waiting to rip meat off a bone. We were just because we knew it was taking such a long time for them to answer the questions. We're like, we got to get it. We must have a couple of steals in here, possibly. When we came back and then we had no steals, we're like, damn it, because it took so long for them to answer those questions. Yeah. But of course, if we had answered all those questions right in the first round, we would have won the match if everything had stayed the same. And so it's like, that's the thing. The perfect round matters. Have you noticed that this year? This is a good question. I've heard this from a couple of players and some fans, a few fans actually, that last year, everyone was like the second round is the most important round. This year, it seems to be transitioning to the first round being the most important round. Getting a perfect round and answering that extra question seems to be making the difference in a lot of matches. Do you sense that? Or do you think that's just a narrative that people are creating and it's always been the first round? The first round has always been an important part of the game.
I think it's always been important, but I think it's a little different this year because last year, one of the things was me trying to figure out the footing was it felt like a lot of people were getting first rounds. And so this year, perfect rounds. Sorry. No worries. And in doing that this year, I've been able to fine tune it where it's like, I can make a question that's just like dagger enough that I might knock someone to a 7. And I'm not trying to stump people, but a perfect example of that actually was in your guys' first team's match was the Fear and Loathing question, where it was like the way the actors were named was just enough where it was like, oh, wait, what? And then because Del Toro, if I had moved him first, I think arguably people would have thought about it a little more and gone to Fear and Loathing. You leave Depp out, move Benicio to the front. You're like, oh, he's kind of like the lead of the movie, and then maybe you get there a little quicker. But to have him last, the idea was maybe he's not a big part, right? And it was just like the information was there, the director was there, the year was there. Can you get over the hurdle of the names? And I've kind of had fun with that.
Yeah, that totally changed our training that I've been doing after that question. After I missed that question in the match, I sent off one of my patrons to go start creating questions like that, like pick 3. And I remember that was the issue with the Minority Report question as well. You are listing actors in the crew in the cast. So I'm trying to condition my mind now. Okay, what are the third, fourth, fifth actors in this movie? That might be a 5-pointer down the road. So just conditioning myself to open my mind up a little bit more than just whatever's right in front, or assuming the lead actor will be part of the equation or the conversation. So that's been fun for sure.
That's why that Deception 5-pointer was so good to me, was that Bourne Legacy one where it was like,
oh yeah,
it was like there was enough information if you knew you could get there, but it was just tricky enough to not put like Renner or Rachel Weisz or Ed Norton. But there's 2 actors who have been in multiple of those movies.
Yes,
one of the people is, it was just right. And that's the kind of stuff I want to do, where I'm not trying to trick people, but I am trying to push you to get there.
Yeah. Like A Perfect Murder. That was a great 5-pointer in the match with Collins and Dan, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Those, and they're gettable. I mean, like, I knew immediately it was Bourne Legacy only because I have a secret love for that movie. I like Renner in that movie, and I have a secret love for Rachel Weisz. Maybe not so secret, but I love Rachel Weisz. So like that movie stays in my mind. But if you could, another spy franchise, you could name 3 characters or 3 actors, and I might not know it. So you just never know what you've seen, what you haven't seen, what you've studied for, what you haven't studied for, and it's all relative. It's all subjective about what's gettable and what isn't. All right, let's get we're getting a little bit behind here. Let's get to some more of these Streamlabs here, PJ. D-Train says, I was watching The Godfather the other day, and the scene that I always think about often is the Tessio scene where he realizes he's about to get killed. The fact that he took it like a man and accepted his own fate is something I think we overlook. Interesting. What's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I can see that, and honestly, I can compare that to how I feel sometimes with Schmoedown stuff too. Sometimes it's better to fall on the sword and accept the outcome of the situation instead of fighting the situation. And that's, one of those things for people. Like, I get there's pride to it. Whoa. All right. 1 second. Sorry.
Easy, bud. Oh, there you go. It's a beautiful dog. Uh-oh. Are we getting an appearance? Oh, look at that cute little bugger. Oh, nice. All right. Well, PJ handles the dog business. I'll answer this question for you, D-Train. This is interesting. You said, did Tessio took it like a man? Did he take it like a man fully, though, D-Train? I'll ask you to revisit that scene. He tries to ask Tom to help him out of it for old time's sake. So he didn't just take it and accept it. He only accepted it when Tom couldn't help him at the end. Then he said, tell Michael it wasn't personal. It was just business. And he knows that, Sully. So he says he knows that, Tessie. So it's just like, that's that moment. So he didn't fully take it like a man, but he did certainly eventually accept the outcome of the situation for sure.
Accepting. Are you good? Yes, accepting reality matters is all I was going to say.
Exactly. All right. Canada Rock says, a lot of respect to PJ. I am absolutely amazed how he and his team can keep cranking out such high quality questions, match after match. I hope you get to do more horror matches, PJ. Absolutely loved the exhibition match. Yeah, what was that experience like for you, constructing those questions and knowing Robert Kirkman was going to read some of your questions? Crazy.
So the wild part was the Kirkman thing. I had no idea when they came to me that was how it was going to be. And I love horror movies. And they were like, do you think you could write a horror exhibition? I was like, me? Yes, absolutely. Let's go. And they were like, how long do you think you need? And it was one of the weeks where we had like a bunch going on. I was like, give me a week. Let me see where we can go. And they're like, you have 3 days. You think you can do it? And I was like, I mean, can I? Yes, it's going to be quick, but I had so much fun because I love horror movies. Yeah. So for me to like dive in and do all this stuff and play with a bunch of different horror genres, if you will, subgenres, it was the best, man. I had a great time.
Well,
what's with you?
Just need your attention.
Good? All right.
Jealous. A little jealous there. Yeah, absolutely. It was great to watch, and certainly they're fantastic. And Canada Rocks Royko is trying to get into the FCL, so I got to reach out to Gilmore. He's apparently submitted a video he really wants to play. Justin Toner in here as well. What's up, Justin? He says, hi, John and PJ. Thanks for coming on the Outlaw Nation, PJ. Which of the new slices are you looking forward to seeing people dive into? Wrestlers in film and martial arts have been fun for me so far. I am still waiting to see someone take on Akira Kurosawa.
Kurosawa was one that I very much want to see people land on, just because, again, I love Kurosawa. I grew up watching a lot of those movies, so that's one. But martial arts was one that was near and dear to my heart. I was very excited about wrestlers in film. I didn't love it at first. Christian was the one who pitched it to me, and I was like, I don't know, man. Like, it felt real narrow, just like in that moment. And then to think about it, it was like, no, it's not. Like, there's so much you can do, and I have had so much fun with it. So that one is one that I really, really like. The Jimmy Stewart and the Frank Capra one, again, real close to my heart. That's the kind of stuff I've been having fun with. And then IG, it was like, I love Jurassic Park, so that's been fun. The Alien and Predator slice is real fun. Like, IG needed it so bad for me to feel love for IG again, and so that was why I did it, because I felt like we needed to change it up, and I've had the best time writing it.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. Yeah. And it's coming through. I think it's coming through. And I Kurosawa, it's an interesting choice for a slice. Aaron Klister. Oh, thank you, Aaron. Dude, thank you very much. What a kind donation. Aaron says, for you, sir, you will always be the ultimate Schmoedown warrior in my book.
Goddamn right.
It's funny you say that. I just watched that Ultimate Warrior biography. I recommend it. If you haven't seen it, the A&E biography on Ultimate Warrior, definitely recommend it. Do they kind of, walk over some of the more uncomfortable things he said in the past? Yes, but at least they address it. At least they bring it up, which a lot of documentaries might not do. So, but thank you, Aaron. It's very kind. He says, my question for PJ is, when a usual suspect team member answered with, I am robot, and got a correct answer for it. Now, was that calling up to you or Christian, who was on the desk? All right. So I know this is one of those possibly controversially charged questions. So feel free to answer it or not answer it, PJ, whatever you feel you can say that you're allowed to say about this situation.
I can honestly say that it wasn't anything, at least for me, like I had any say in. But the other thing is that kind of like Brother Lomas and a couple of us, the thing that people don't realize with StreamYard is sometimes you lose what people are saying. And that was one of the weird moments where the audio was weird because Ellis didn't hear it, I didn't hear it, and Brother Lomas didn't hear it. So my assumption at that point is that Christian also didn't hear it. And if that's the case, it's just one of those things. And I mean, obviously, it's a very different situation. And in hindsight, yeah, it is what it is. But because no one heard it in that regard, it was gone through. And I know that that's some of the benefit of the doubt rule and things like that. Like, people are focused on that one. Just one of those things about the digital era, man.
But, listen, if I can be honest, and in no way am I putting down my manager, that's a moment that my manager should have been challenging that question.
Right.
And putting it on the table. So you want to take as much of the game like you do in any sport. You want to take as much of the game out of the ref's hands as possible. You want to be able to use your challenges, use your timeouts. Of course, you won't have timeouts, but you know what I mean. And use your knowledge or the 60 seconds you get to kind of just transition into that situation. I used to brush through the 60 seconds last year. This year, I'm kind of enjoying it when Tom is actually there. I'm kind of enjoying it when his internet is working to sit down with him for 60 seconds because that's me kind of calming the nerves down, recalibrating, seeing what we do next. I mean, in the Liz match, those 60 seconds of Tom and I talking was so essential. So those are little. We don't have timeouts. But those 60 seconds kind of count as a timeout if you use the full 60 seconds, So just a little suggestion there for people overall.
I could not agree more. I think that some people downplay how important the management stuff is, actually.
Yeah. And downplay my manager, and I'm going to find you. All right. Corey Cameron says, what are your favorite types of questions to write for the Schmoedown, PJ? The IMDb type questions, one's about plot points in the movie, one's with certain context clues, or something else.
Ooh, interesting. Like, I think a good IMDb cast question is always fun. I'm actually I think people notice I'm a sucker for tagline questions, and that's weird. Rocha and I were talking about that last week.
I noticed. Trust me, I noticed.
Yeah, it's the thing, man. I just enjoy it, and it's just kind of fun, and it's just kind of different. And because if you put the right information there, it's still gettable, even if you don't know it. Like it. Right. So that's where I have. Is there something wrong? Thank you. All right. But those are fun, and like I said, some of the cast questions. Give me a second. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. No worries. You know, sometimes you got to be a dad. Sometimes you got to be a dad when you got the beautiful little corgi there hanging out. Let's see. Yeah, he'll answer that question when he gets back here, Corey, for sure. What his favorite questions are to ask. By the way, dig that chair. Look at that movie collection, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe some of the Schmoedown competitors will like take a picture of this and then like go real in on it, real close on it. Start to do that. We shall see. Let's see. Doug Developer says, my favorite Schmoedown moment was when Team Top 10 walked out on Team Action's game-winning 5-point question, which was, who is the villain in the original Spider-Man movie? Seriously, PJ, why the fuck was that a 5-point question? Well, Doug, it wasn't a 5-point question. It was actually a 3-point question, to correct you there, and it was still insulting as a 3-point question for sure. But PJ didn't write it. That was during the Skaliski regime, just to clarify that for you, Doug. But I appreciate you sending in a little bit of support here for us as we watch this. PJ, am I right on that?
It had nothing to do with me. That was pre me actually writing things. But I do remember that because I was there. That was one of my earlier times in the era of being there. But, you know.
That was real juice, man. I mean, Matt and I fucking hated Ben and Andrew at the time. We were so mad at them. This real shit was going on both in front of the camera and behind the camera. And I know we wanted to beat them so bad. And when that moment happened, it was great. But the reason all of that happened was because of what happened in this match that you're referencing here, Doug, because they got to us. They got to us mentally. They were riding high, swaggering around, and we let them affect us and get us mad. Now, I didn't miss any questions I would have known anyway, but just the way it worked out, you know what I'm saying? So it just worked out for us in the negative point of view. And I'm a big fan of energy in a game. Like, you've got to bring the right kind of cosmic energy. You got to respect the game. To me, if you don't respect the game, it can come back and bite you. Remember, Ben was giggling after I missed that first question. Then they spun opponent's choice. That's the karma of the game. That's the karma of the game sometimes. You got to be careful. You got to be careful with the karma. If they had missed their 5, we go into sudden death, and who knows what happens at that point, you know? So
anything can happen in this game. Never tempt fate.
Yep, never tempt fate. I agree with that. If you're celebrating in between rounds going crazy, big mistake. All right, let's see. Peggy Gobbins. Oh, thank you, Peggy. Says PJ, I'm curious if there is a singles and team slice that you do not particularly enjoy running questions for. Also consider this my official request for a Stanley Tucci slice to be added into the mix someday. Love to you both. Can't wait to meet IRL. What's IRL? Is that your
in real life?
Oh, can't wait to meet in real life. Oh, you kids with your phrases. Just use the words. Stop being so lazy. But yeah, you talk to me, PJ. Is there a singles or team slice that you do not particularly enjoy writing questions for?
There's a couple that I have fallen out of favor writing because I think that they're getting a little shallow, and I'd like to evolve the slices.
Okay.
Adam Sandler is one I've been looking at for a little while. SNL similarly. I think that there's a different way to handle the SNL slice that I would like to handle in the future. So we'll see where that stuff kind of pans out. There's some others where, like, I'm not crazy about a lot of the period piece costume drama type stuff, but the thing that I've gotten around with that is technically stuff like Wyatt Earp is a period piece or a costume drama. So if I'm going to write some of those, I might do like Western type questions or things like that, because for me, I'm like, that's my period piece. Like I want to, let's talk about Wyatt Earp or Tombstone or Unforgiven. Like, those are period pieces. Those are costume dramas. So yeah. And I think that would throw a couple people, because they'd be like, wait, I'm sorry, what? Like
Cowboys versus Aliens. That's a period piece, is it not?
And it's a costume drama.
Yeah, and a costume drama, right? It's not all just 18th century British bullshit. It's also stuff that goes. We had a time period in our country too. Damn it!
Goddamn right.
Goddamn right. Jamie Gore says favorite slasher movie. Hopefully, future category.
I would love to do a slasher category. That was one of those things with the horror match, man. I had some fun with some of those categories and stuff. But again, it's also about respecting the game. Like I can do something like that in a specialized match where we're doing it for a specialized group.
Yeah.
Like these are people who love horror movies, so I can do stuff like that. I don't necessarily want to do that to the singles and teams players. Like I feel like that ends not well, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there is a place for that. Like I'll say that one of the things I started to think about, because I had put anthology horror on the wheel in that match, was the idea of what if I just put anthology movies on the wheel next season, because there are quite a few movies like that. So there's always the possibility. Favorite slasher movie is Halloween. I'm always going to be a sucker for the original. A very close second is Psycho, because I think Psycho is like the granddaddy of all slasher films.
Yeah, I like Psycho as well. Jamie Gore says, I can't wait for Rocha versus Bateman. Let's go exchange. Oh yeah, it's going to be crazy for sure. The kid's out to prove something to everybody, so I'm going to have my hands full. I just got to make it to the third round. That's all I'm thinking about in my head. He's the favorite. He beat me already in teams, so he's got all the momentum. So we'll see what happens for sure. It's a challenge, but every match this year has been a hell of a challenge for sure, going toe-to-toe with them and seeing what people can bring to the table. It's been fun. Yeah. So, totally. I know definitely we'll see. It's going to be a hell of a clash. Both of us want it. So we'll see who comes out on top for sure. But thank you, Jamie. Appreciate the support for the exchange. All right, let's see where we're at here, ladies and gentlemen. We're about $10 short of the $100 mark. So if one of y'all send in another Streamlabs to get us across the $100 mark, we'll tell the story of where PJ and I first met each other and the madness of that whole experience as we go along. We've got 84 of you watching us right now, so please hit that thumbs up button because we only have 48 likes. So let's get up to 80 likes before the end of the show. Let's get up to 100 likes before the end of the show. That would be great. So give it some love here as we talk about it. All right, let's go ahead.
Real quick. I was going to say, I know that we pull things up in the comments, but I see JJ Winward. He's like, why waste time saying lots of words when fewer words do the trick? Yeah. Context matters for the players, man. Like people say that a lot and they talk about stuff being wordy, but sometimes you need that sometimes some questions are longer than others, but people don't realize that under the lights, sometimes context matters. And that's why I do it. Like I would much rather give everyone the context of what you're looking for than shortchange someone and then get yelled at later. Like I want people to be able to play well. That's it. Absolutely.
That's the game. You want people to play well. I like that. That's a good positive approach to things. Let's transition a little bit away from the Schmoedown as we enter into the second hour here, ladies and gentlemen. Please keep sending in your Streamlabs and Super Chats as we go along. What's that? Oh, yeah. Nice. All right.
Quoting The Office, Tim Francis. I don't know.
Oh, he's quoting The Office. Oh, okay. Oh, Franco's in here. What's up, Tank? How you doing down there in Arizona? How are you feeling, man? I think I'm closer to you guys. I feel like I'm closer to you guys being in San Diego. Am I not? Is it more of a straight shot?
Yeah, you're probably. It's probably for me. It'd probably take 4-ish hours to get there.
Oh, see, so maybe I'll make a weekend trip once everything opens up and come hang out with your boys for a day.
Yeah, I was thinking about doing the same thing too, vice versa. Well, because I miss San Diego, man. It'd be nice to come up and visit too for a little bit. So we'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. That's for sure. Ditto, man. Ditto. Well, let's move away from a little bit from the Schmoedown a little bit. Now people are going back to the theater. I went for the first time in months to the theater last night. I mistakenly said that it had been a year since I've been in the theater, but that's what it felt like. I'd forgotten we'd gone to Tenet to see Tenet for my birthday, but still it felt weird to be in the theater going to see Tenet. This actually felt like an actual experience where people were vaccinated. There was spacing. I felt weird, but still more comfortable going back this time. And as they are there films that you're kind of excited about, looking forward to, put down in the calendar? What's your approach to the summer movie season now? Are you walking away from streaming if you can and going to see it in a theater instead?
Yeah, I'm trying to, because early on it was weird because obviously none of us had really gone to the theater. It wasn't until Wonder Woman that a couple of us down here went, because WB had hooked up late to the party with a private screening, and they were like,
nice.
They had teamed with Cinemark and they kind of let us go, and so we had been doing that a little bit, but it still was like we were doing private screenings, and that felt a little weird to still go, but it was like, but you're with your friends, and we all knew we had been like doing our bubble thing, so it all worked out. It wasn't until Scott Pilgrim a couple of weeks ago that I finally paid to go see a movie at the AMC with people that I had never met, and like it was a weird thing, but I got that bug again. It was like I walked in and I smelled the popcorn, and it was like I'm home. It feels right, and I was so excited. And then Mother's Day, I got to take my mom to see In the Heights because a bunch of theaters down here did In the Heights for Mother's Day. And it had been my most anticipated film of 2020 originally, which transitioned into 2021. And it was the first movie my mom had seen in over a year. And so like, it was just a cool experience to do that again. And so now I'm like, we're back at it, man. Like it's starting to feel real. So Fast 9 is on my radar, obviously, because I love those damn movies. They make me happy. I can't believe it's been going for 20 years. That is
God, I know.
Insanity. I'm really looking forward to A Quiet Place, which I'm seeing on Thursday, which I can't wait for.
Dude, it's so good.
The Conjuring, because I love those movies. And everything I'm hearing about this new one has me so curious because they went in such a drastically different direction.
Yeah.
Not doing just like the haunted house thing. So I'm kind of going into each one where I'm looking at it and I'm going to give everyone its due because we've gotten to the point where I'm fully vaxxed. I feel good about it. It seems like at least the people who want to are doing it, and I'm ready to get out and see the world again. And it's still about being smart. Wear your damn mask still, just being smart about it. But I miss the movies. And there was something about being in there. Like I got emotional when In the Heights started. And it was just starting. The lights went down and it just felt like I was home again. Cause it was the first time I was seeing a new movie like that in that way. And I've been missing it. We went all the time, man. Like all of us did. We were all going to the movies. Like there was days after tapings that Marzonia and I would go across the street to the AMC. We would go see a movie and then we'd meet up with you guys. Like that was how we operated frequently. And so to have that taken away was so bizarre. And like, I can watch things at home and it's great. But when you're at home, it's easy to get distracted. I have dogs. They bark at everything because they hear noise. There's kids in my neighborhood and they're like, we want to bark at the kids or, it's easy to be on your phone and just get sidetracked. Like I want to go back to the theater and just enjoy it.
Yeah. I'm in the same boat with you. I was one of those people that said that we weren't going to go back to theaters in the same numbers that we did before. And from what I'm seeing, at least initially, I might have been wrong about that. And a number of us who felt that way might have been wrong about that. And I was like, well, if we never go to a theater, I'm cool. And I guess, I hadn't seen one in such a long time that it kind of felt like we could transition out of it. And then I went last night and I was sitting in that theater, in that Dolby Atmos theater, watching this film of Quiet Place Part 2. And in my head, the whole time, I'm like, I've missed this. I forgot how much I missed this. I forgot how much I enjoyed this. And feeling the vibe of the room of people who are caught up in the movie and responding to it as well. I forgot how much that meant to be in a theater, to have that communal experience. So I'm one of those people now that's been a little bit converted again. And I'm like, I can't wait till we can start going back more consistently to the theaters, that these movies start coming out in higher numbers from these studios. So I'm excited for it too.
Wrath of Man just hit digital and I haven't had a chance to see it yet. And number one, your review was so glowing, and I love Guy Ritchie. So I've been meaning to see it, but I also I work a lot. And so I hadn't had a chance. And it was like that one, I guess I could see myself watching on digital and it's not nearly as big of a deal. But at the same time, it's like, no, but I do want to see the Guy Ritchie movie on the big screen. Like it's Guy Ritchie. Like, and so even though I could, I'm still like, you know what? I think I'm going to just go. Like, I think I'm going to buy a ticket and I'm going to go, and that'll be fun. Like, I even paid to see Army of the Dead the other day with Chance. Like, Chance and I went to go see Army of the Dead. I could have watched it on Netflix, but dude, why not? Like, if I got the chance, let's go. I mean, why? It's I love the theater, man. I do.
I'm telling you, I might sneak off tomorrow afternoon and go see Army of the Dead. There's an IMAX screening that's about 20 minutes away from here, and I might go see it by myself. And it's one of those theaters where it's like 2 huge seats, space, 2 huge seats, space, like the old the one over there in West LA. I can't remember the name of that theater in West LA, the one I used to go to there.
Oh,
It has those situations. So if there's still tickets for that, I'm going to go tomorrow afternoon after I handle some business for Geek Buddies, and then roll and hopefully catch it and enjoy it, because that's how I want to see it. That's how I want to see it for sure.
It needs
and
to
then I'll
be
do
on
my
big screen.
Exactly.
I'll say that, because it's especially like, look, say what you will about Snyder, dude's a visual artist, and so I wanted to appreciate it on the best screen I could.
He knows the medium. Absolutely,
yeah, man.
Jamie Gore says, more excited for Conjuring 3 or Quiet Place 2?
I mean, so I'm gonna say Conjuring 3 only with the caveat that I'm like less than 48 hours away from seeing A Quiet Place. Right. So I don't, I'm already so close where I don't want to be like, I want to see both. I just love horror movies. Right. That's the truth of the matter. I just like scary movies. So both of them are like sequels I've been anticipating. So I'm anticipating both.
Okay.
And I know that's the cop-out answer. I'm sorry, Jamie.
I'll take Quiet Place Part 2. Tim Franco says, I've got lots of beer to drink, stouts. All right, Tim. All right, let me lose some weight, Tim, and then I'll come hang out. Let me drop some pounds so I can put those stouts.
This is why I have to work out so much now, because I hang around Tim.
Yeah, Tim loves to drink. That's for damn sure. Let's see. What else have we got here? Oh, yeah. Whoa. Oh, Sean, thank you very much. Sean putting us over the top. Sean, that's very kind of you. You didn't have to do that, but it's very kind of you, Sean. All right, we are over the $100 mark on the Streamlabs side of things. So, PJ, shall we tell the story?
Yeah, I think this is it's really funny because I don't know how many people know, but like I had left Los Angeles at one point. And I had moved back, and I moved back at the end of 2016, and it was like just the beginning of 2019. It was my birthday.
Yep.
And I had just started going back to press screenings, and we got a press screening for a little Vin Diesel joint called Triple X, The Return of Xander Cage. Not necessarily the first movie you want to be like, I'm seeing this out the gate.
True.
I'm going to admit to you guys, I kind of like this movie. It's dumb, but I have fun. And so I'm like hanging out, and I'm getting like, I think it was Century City was where it was at. And I'm walking down I'm going down the escalator, and I see Rocha, who I've been watching for years at this point, it feels like, and I've known him for like through the computer, and I'm like, that's Rocha, and then next to you was Christian.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I was so nervous, and I didn't want to know what to do. Like I was shaking, but I was like, I need to talk to you guys. And so I went up, and I was like nervous, and I was like, hi, you guys don't know me. I've been watching for a long time. And I could see Christian's like, what is this dude? Who is this person? Like, why is he talking to me? And it was just one of those things where it was like, oh my God, but like eventually I kind of calmed down, and we just started talking, and it was just like, I felt like I had known you for a little bit. And so I kept in contact with you guys a little bit, but I hadn't really seen anyone until a couple months later. Makuga invites me to the studio. Yeah. And I met you again, and you were like, PJ, what are you doing here? And that was the day before the first free for all ever taped.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And you guys had a match. It was the teams match. You came out and you were yelling at me, and you were calling me out by name. And Dennis ended up cutting that part out, which made me laugh. You were like, "I see you. You sit down, PJ." You were like, just giving me this hard time. And that is where we met, man. And I've always loved that, because it also kind of, that to me is the camaraderie of what you and I became as friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was also like, I'm glad I did it, because I overcame that fear. I'd been in the business a long time, and I'd talked to Billy Crystal and all these guys, but for whatever reason, it was you and Christian that I was so nervous to talk to that I didn't know what to do. Yeah. And I will never forget that. And now I can't live with my life without you. What the fuck?
I think it's crazy how things have gone from that meeting in your life and our lives to where we're at now, and what an integral part you are of the Schmoedown. I remember you were there for all the matches. I remember either you were in the audience or you'd come out afterwards. If I took a tough loss, you were always there with a kind word. You'd like call ahead. You text me, say, "Hey man, can I bring you a Jamba Juice, or can I bring you some food? Do you need anything?" I remember those days right?
Yeah,
when you were trans, and I was like, oh God, this guy's here all the time. What does he want? What is he doing? Like, I was like, does he know what we're like? What's happening here? And then eventually you realize, no, this is a genuinely good person, because I'm a skeptical person at heart, because I've been burned in the past in my younger years by people you kind of open the door to. And so I was just like, I'm always really hesitant to meet new people and like become friends with new people, because I'm like, once I'm friends with you, I'm pretty loyal. Unless you fuck me over, I'm pretty loyal. So it takes me a while to get to that place. And so for you, it was just the and then you were always there. You always did the kind where you're always there. And when I won or lost, it was always a great conversation. And to see it transition to where it is now, and to see you go through the things you've gone through in your life as well, it's been incredible to see you come out the other side of all of it. And to me, and only you know this for real, you look to be happier, healthier, and that your life is in a better place than maybe it was for a while there when we were first getting to know each other. So,
it was. I mean, and look, I've made it. I feel like this comes up whenever you're on like one of these tell-all things, but like a big part of it was like I got divorced, and like that whole situation, it changes your life. But also, like I had been burned by LA after a while, and so leaving LA when I did, with the situation when I did, forced me to like look at life in a different way, where I was like, but I can be better. I can do the stuff that I want to do. And I didn't want to let anyone down. And that sounds weird, but it's also like, you don't want to let yourself down. And it was like, we all depend on each other. This community is real tight. Like the Schmoedown family is like a real thing. Yeah. And so you all kind of feel for each other, and you guys all rallied around me enough that I was like, I can get up and I can push forward. And if I can come out the other side, I'll have been better for what I did. And it's easy to like, I don't know, I'm sure you've seen it, but like I even started going to therapy over the last several months. And I had never done that before. And it's been like a life altering experience. Like I swear by therapy now, because you don't realize how much stuff is in the back of your head, or just like weighing on you and holding you back when you never realized it.
Go ahead. Sorry, PJ.
I was going to say, and part of it was like you and I had talked about it, and you were like, maybe you should do therapy. And I was like, I would love to, but it's expensive. But I've, spent time putting stuff aside to make sure I could. And I will never go back.
To that place, you mean? Not to therapy.
To that place. And like always go to therapy. Like I will never go to a place where it's still so weirdly like has a stigma to it. Yeah. But there's nothing wrong with wanting to better yourself.
Absolutely. It's no different than working out. It's no different than reading self-help books or watching videos that inspire you or give you confidence. Going to therapy is a tool to elevate your consciousness, to elevate your awareness of yourself and make your life better. Like people feel better when they work out. People feel better when they lose weight. People feel better when they do things that are more positive, when they take chances, when they push themselves out of their comfort zones. People do eventually feel better. Therapy does that, and you're right. The stigma of it is so unfortunate, and it's still something people have to fight to this day, but it's so important. You're seeing some people, and I don't want to get too political, but look at the Marjorie Taylor Greene stuff. That woman needs so much therapy to be saying the purposefully inflammatory, hurtful, hateful bile that she's saying. It's coming from a deep place of insecurity, a deep place of needing the attention. You don't need attention at the level that she seems to be wanting to get attention, unless you really weren't loved as a child. Like you really weren't cared about. You really weren't made to feel good about who you are. So the plasticity of attention is never going to fill that hole. No matter what you do, the plasticity of attention wavers left to right. In Rocky 3, there's a great scene between Adrian and Rocky on the beach, and she says to him, you need to come to terms with what's going on inside you, because when they're all done chanting your name, it's just going to be us. And we can't live like, you can't live like this. We can't live like this. And that's the truth. Adulation is fleeting. You've got to be able to handle who you are and be comfortable with who you are through the highs and the lows. And if you're not, your life's going to be really difficult. And
and like I think the truth is, and I hate saying it this way, but I think that there's a little bit of that in our space, because there's a lot of being in this space that is about are you doing it for yourself and like wanting to build a community, or are you doing it because you also want the attention? And there's a way of handling that in moving forward and pushing forward. And I think that that's the kind of stuff that matters. Like if you can sit down and feel like I'm doing this because I enjoy doing it, and I want to do it because I want to build a community and it betters me, that's the best way to do it. You don't get into it because you want to be socially famous in some sort of way, and you want like that. It's wrong-headed. And it's so easy to be like, I want this pseudo fame, when it should be, I want to be better. And I think that there's a disconnect in this space sometimes in that regard.
Yeah, and I think the therapy, I mean, if you remember, PJ, were you there that day? I mean, I think you were there that day when I had like we did that pay-per-view days after I'd almost killed myself. Like it was a really weird out of body experience. And I think we had talked about it, and I think I kind of opened up about it. And because I think at that point I trusted you were in the trust circle, so for lack of a better term. And I remember that was like I had to go to therapy because of where I was at, and the Schmoedown was something that was part and parcel with that, because I was seeing value through that situation. I knew I had to short circuit that, because that's, like I said, anything you do in a competitive sense is the joy is fleeting, the success is fleeting. I mean, I'm watching the Ultimate Warrior biography, and he said 2 days after I won and beat Hogan, I was thinking to myself, oh, how do I top that? What's next? How do I do that? So it's like, it's and I felt that way in matches where I've won the belt, and then I'm like, okay, what next? You know? And so you've got to understand what it means and where to put it, and just enjoy the ride. It's not easy to do. And especially it isn't easy to do when you've got people who are, commenting in the YouTube chat with some of the worst stuff that they can say, some of the personal attacks, people who've clearly not been to a therapist saying some of the worst stuff about you personally. And trying to hide behind the fact that, well, you're playing a heel now, so let me insult you personally. It's that kind of stuff that you see that you're like, yeah, I wish you all would see therapists. I think you would see that this is not the way to go about it. You can still be playful, ball busting, all that kind of shit. But some of the personal attacks, that's the thing, that you're working something out within yourself on me or another player, or Janine, who's taken a lot of brunt of those comments, or Silvestrini, or other people who've taken those hits, Kalinowski, who've taken those hits through the course of being part of this game, and so you just hope that those people find whatever help they need, because that's no way to go through life, PJ.
No, it's not. And it's so funny because, in all saying all that, like that was part of the reason I think you and I bonded, because I've clearly gone through my own dark days, and you kind of run in a pack, right? Like when you find those people, you kind of run in a pack, because you all see the same things and you all feel the same things. And I think that that's why you and I have always been so close. And like, to what you just said with like the what's next thing, I'll never forget in the back, like Christian said this to me once, and he was like, I'm so glad you became a writer. And I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, your influence on the game has been so much better behind the scenes, and like what you've done and what you've helped do. It's so much better than just like the fleeting. If you had been competing, like you added so much more that I had ever anticipated that it could be. And he was like, that was the kind of change I wanted to see the game. And that was when I was like, maybe we are doing the right thing. Like I was in the right place where I had wanted to compete for so long, but I realized I would much rather be behind the scenes in a capacity where I was helping and doing different things. And I could also still be like, I'm here for my friends, because there's the moment you become a competitor within it, it can also be hard to be like, I'm also here to be your friend. Like we're all still family, but also you're competing. And I didn't want to lose that. I wanted to be able to go to every person if there was something going on and being like, let's step aside and talk, because clearly something is going on. Let's get in your head. Like, let's break it down. And let's push forward.
Yeah, that's absolutely very, very true. Chris Taylor says, personally attacking Rocha is telling him Tombstone is the greatest Western. Yes, I agree. That is a personal
That is
attack.
true. I would never actually. Who would say, like, look, I like Tombstone, but it's not the greatest Western of all time.
It's a motherfucking fast food meal. Chris Taylor says, Keanu's Johnny Utah in the Fast franchise. LOL. I don't know. Do we see that? What does that mean? Is that happening or something like that?
No, I think it's like the idea of what if, because obviously that's kind of, definitely ripped off the Fast and the Furious. Fast ripped off Point Break. So, you know.
Oh, yeah. Good points. Yeah. Let's see. We got one more here. Daniel Rodriguez says, got my Finstock Exchange shirt in the mail today. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel. Appreciate that madly. Thanks for representing the Finstock Exchange, Daniel. I'll tell Tom. I'll tell Gucci. He's going to be happy for sure. And hope I make you proud on June 4th. We'll see. You never know how games can go, but I hope I make you proud, man. I'm certainly going to do my best for sure. Tombstone is great, but it's no Quick in the Dead. Smithy. Yeah, right. All right, we've got a couple of people. If you don't mind, PJ, we got a couple of people in of my patrons who want to come in and ask questions here. And then as we're doing that, ladies and gentlemen, please keep sending in your Streamlabs. Let's get to $200 before the end of the show. PJ, I'll have another story for you at the $200 mark. He'll choose. He's got like 2 stories to choose from here, so it could be kind of fun.
SNL one I think is fun. I think that's if you guys like SNL, I had a very interesting encounter with an SNL cast member, and
there you go.
I'd love to tell you about it.
Saturday Night Live, you gotta love it. All right, let's bring in Smithy, director of Blood Beach Zombies. What's going on there, Sky? What's going on?
What's up, guys? PJ, how's it going?
Good, man. I love the hat, by the way. It's awesome.
Well, I may have directed this movie. I may not have. Alan Smithy gets around. Exactly. But anyway, I was going to say, PJ, I absolutely love the work you do. And I think you are working super hard. If you've actually watched all the movies that are behind you, that's impressive in and of itself. But
I spent a lot of time watching movies.
I do think there's a slice that's missing from the Schmoedown.
Here we go.
And it's the Alan Smithy film slice. Okay, come on.
Is this on the same level as the box office bomb slice that I get asked about at least once every 2 weeks?
There's some famous people involved in Alan Smithy.
That's fair.
Can I ask a question, Rocha?
Yeah, of course. Make it respectful, but yes, feel free.
No, I mean, this is an Alan Smithy question.
Oh, go ahead.
All right. I'm going to see if PJ can get this one because, All right. Ready?
Stump the question writer.
Plus, by the way, I'm not auditioning for writing questions. These sound like crazy. All right. What Alan Smithy directed horror science fiction film starring Doug Bradley features Step Brothers actor Adam Scott in one of his earliest film and television roles?
Wow.
So there's a few clues in there.
Mm-hmm.
I did pick horror sci-fi, maybe.
Is it Hellraiser Bloodline?
I was asking PJ.
Oh, my bad.
No, you're good. I'm glad because I had got obviously the Bradley thing. Remembered that he was in, and then I remembered that Adam Scott was in one of the Hellraisers. I was trying to remember which one. That was a great pool.
I actually went to high school with Adam Scott. He didn't know me, but he knew my sister, so that counts for something.
Hello.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't know my sister like that. Jeez.
Oh, I mean, I don't get out of people. I stay out of people's personal business. But yeah, I mean, it's not like I've been studying horror.
No, I just figured I've mentioned that a lot. Well, unless you have, wow. Maybe. But it's also, I think, one of the only Hellraisers that could be considered a science fiction because they're in space for part of the movie. Hey, also, I'll tell you, PJ, Killer Clowns from Outer Space was filmed in and around the Monterey Bay area. And that's where I grew up. And I actually, the scene, because you seem to be a fan of this movie, right? So when they kind of disturbed the little girl at her birthday party through the window? I went to junior high with that girl. And I was kind of friends with her a little bit.
That is hilarious. So I'm from Sacramento, by the way. So I am a Northern California kid. So, it's always fun. We're a small collective. And it's fun when that one. And then if I look at Zodiac, because so much of that was actually shot back down in the Vallejo area, I feel at home when I watch those movies, to be honest. And Lady Bird specifically, obviously, because seeing the Crest Theater and stuff, it was oh my God, home. It's a nice feeling, man.
Absolutely. All right. There you go. All right. Well, thanks, Smithy. Appreciate
had the Lost Boys. So
that's right.
That's kind of one of the times where I remember, because Rocha, at least I'll say this. I think a lot of new viewers of the Schmoedown don't realize that the head writer is in the chat. So when they're talking about stuff, that's when I made a joke because I'm like, it's really Santa Cruz, not Santa Carla, because I grew up there. And I'm like, they didn't change anything. That's exactly how Santa Cruz is, and there probably are vampires. But anyway, so you called me out, though. You're like, wait, what did I do wrong? And I was like, oh, he writes the questions. I better shut up.
Don't mess around. Don't mess
I'm
around.
always around, man.
Yeah.
He's always looking.
Well,
Thanks,
anyway,
dude.
Thank you, PJ. And I would love to hear some more exciting stories. So let's go.
Man.
If we
Thanks
get
for the
there.
kind words.
All right. Later, Rocha.
Thanks, Smithy. Good to see you, brother man. Love that Raiders hat he's got on. We had a Streamlab come in, brother man. It's from Tushka Adorations. Tushka says, it makes my heart happy to hear you two break down the reality of the Schmoedown and not just the luster. Those haters in the chats can eat a dick. Whoa! Like a whole bag full of dicks. Hashtag much love. Hashtag juggle my balls. Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point.
Yeah.
But some people do their thing for sure. Oh no! Brian Brawler coming in. He says, first, will we ever see a Pokemon the movie question the Schmoedown? And can people please stop asking for slices?
They can always ask me, Brian. I don't feel bad if they want to ask. I get it. Like everyone wants what they want, and that's okay. Pokemon, funny you should mention that. I've had people sniffing around about some of the slices and when things can potentially come up. That I'm not going to say whether I've got stuff written or not, but
no.
Now
how many Pokemon movies qualify to be in the Schmoedown?
At least 4.
Pikachu, right?
Yes. So Detective Pikachu and the live action front obviously does.
Okay.
But the first 4 animated movies were all theatrically released here.
Oh shit.
So,
you just made Brian so happy. He's gonna write like 7,500 fucking Pokemon questions. Oh no! Oh my god!
It can happen.
Oh my god!
I want that noted.
All right. There you go. But thank you very much, Brian. What an incredibly kind donation. You know what? Where does that put? I mean, I kind of want to accept that super chats don't show up till like next month. But I think we can maybe do the $200 story then at this point, since we've kind of technically crossed the $200 mark on the super chat side of things, at least. Go ahead.
I think he wanted it. So let's talk about this.
All right.
Back when The Last Jedi was coming out, and I was still kind of doing the thing of where we would do the press screenings, and then you and I would do junkets and things like that. You and I were always kind of around. And so I don't know if you remember, but back when this was going on, The Last Jedi in particular was like a weird one where Disney was like, you have to come to the lot.
Yes.
There's only this, and this. And it was, all of us were like, are you kidding me? Like, it was in the middle of the week. We all work. Like, so I had left work early and we were trying to get into one of the screenings, and something had happened. And so Disney reached out and they were like, is there any way you can make this screening instead? And like, it was like, God, I don't know, maybe. Like, I was halfway across Los Angeles, which means I was like an hour and a half away, because you can be 13 miles and it is going to take you forever to get anywhere.
Yeah, true.
And so I was like, all right, fine. I can do the thing that you guys need me to do, because you don't want to bite the hand that feeds.
Of course.
And so I'm standing in line. I had gone and gotten Marzonia, and we were standing in line, and they were kind of had us all lined up, because I think I saw you as we were leaving. Remember, they had all of us lined up along the buildings. And so we were standing there, and the person behind us, I'm trying not to be that guy who starts looking at people, but I was like, why do I recognize this person? And I'm kind of going back and forth. And like, I go, Alex, it's Bobby Moynihan. And he was like, what do you mean that's Bobby Moynihan? I was like, look behind us. That's Bobby Moynihan. And he was like, there's no way that's Bobby Moynihan. I was like, that is 100% Bobby Moynihan. And I had forgotten that they had just started doing the DuckTales stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So he was working for Disney. And so they had set him up with the screening. And then he'd also gotten voice cast in Star Wars. Whatever that animated, not the Clone Wars, the one that the New Republic one. Do you remember that? There was that CGI series.
Oh yeah, Resistance, right?
Yeah,
right.
So he had been cast in that, so they got him a screening, and we were like, "Do we start talking to Bobby Moynihan? Like, do we be those people, or do we leave him alone?"
Was he standing by himself, or was he with someone?
He was by himself. Like, what do we do? So it was like, I turned around and I was like, I don't want to be that person. But I just want to say, like, I've always like you were really great on SNL, and I've always really I just think you're very funny. I really liked you in that movie, The Delivery Man, with Vince Vaughn, because he played his brother.
That's right.
And he was like, no one says that. And I was like, I'm being serious, by the way. Like, I'm not kissing your ass. I actually really like that movie. And he was like, thanks, man. So he started talking with us.
Oh, nice.
And we were hanging out with him, and we got into the theater, and he's like, do you mind if I hang out with you guys? And like, can we watch the movie together? And it was
holy shit.
Are you kidding me? Bobby Moynihan, you're asking us if we can come and watch? Yes. Come and watch The Last Jedi with us, Bobby Moynihan. Like, so Bobby Moynihan hung out with us in the Disney theater, watched The Last Jedi, and then walked out of our lives. I've not seen him since. I'm sure he doesn't remember that this was a thing that happened, but Bobby Moynihan hung out with me on the Disney lot and watched The Last Jedi.
There's no fucking way he doesn't remember you and Alex. Everybody remembers their last beginning to end. There is no Star Wars fan. That's the Kennedy assassination, man. Everybody fucking knows where they were when they saw Last Jedi, who was around them, who they were with. I remember that. I remember I went with Perry. I think it was the 11 o'clock or 2 o'clock screening with her. And I remember we sat farther up in the theater on an aisle row next to the steel bar. And I remember when that Admiral Holdo moment happened and everything went silent. And I remember just losing my fucking mind. I literally went like this when it happened because I'd never seen anything like it in a Star Wars movie, let alone any sci-fi movie. It was incredible. So yeah, I'm sure he remembers you guys. He might not remember if he sees your faces, but I'm sure he remembers that there were two dudes he hung out with and sat next to and watched that movie with. So yeah,
it's just a wild thing, man. And
that's
you know,
awesome.
It's so funny because I think my two favorite memories of any screenings were at that lot. One of them was that, and then my last screening ever was with you, and it was Endgame.
Oh, that's right.
I saw Endgame together, and we were both crying. Oh and
my God.
By the time it was over, it was like, you okay?
Yeah.
Fine, man. Fine.
Dude, it was, fuck, the snap destroyed me. Yeah, you're absolutely right. It was a hell of a thing for sure. I remember Infinity War, seeing that at the debut night, wherever the hell that was. I think it was at the Kodak. And when the Spider-Man thing happened, the fucking place went silent. Dead silent. I'd never seen that at a critic screening, that they just fucking went silent, man. And people even stayed in their seats all the way through to the end, even though they said from the beginning there wasn't going to be a deleted, or there wasn't going to be an extra scene. They stayed through to the end. It was incredible, man. Oh, so true.
God, man.
That's great stuff. All right. That's a great story. Thank you, PJ. That's awesome. Yeah. Bobby Moynihan, noted Star Wars enthusiast. I think he was on Collider Live one time. Christian interviewed him, or he was on 101 with Christian. He's a big time Star Wars fan. Nice guy, too. Everyone says incredibly nice guy. So no surprise he hung out with you guys. All right. We've got 25 minutes left in the show. If we get to $300, what's the story you've got for them at 300, PJ?
I ran into a very notable actor, quite literally, at a Collider screening, and I just think it's a fun way to end the night that I legitimately almost knocked down this person by mistake, and it's someone that if it had happened, I would have felt really bad about it later.
Wow. All right, I like the tease. So if we get to what are we at right now? You know what? I'll make it count. Yeah, we're $100 away. If we get to that $300 mark, then boom, we will have that story, ladies and gentlemen. And I prefer a Streamlab because Super Chats are taking 50%. So if any of you want to donate here, you got a question you want to ask PJ, you got a Schmoedown controversy you want to address, or you got a question about our journeys through some really tough moments in our lives, please feel free to send in your Streamlabs now. The address is right above PJ's head. It's also pinned to the chat, and it's in the description of this video. All right, let's bring in somebody live here as well. Royko's been waiting to come in from Canada. What's up, dude? Canada.
Hey, hello. Hi, PJ. First time I think we've actually seen each other on camera. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's great to talk to you. You know, I'm a huge fan of yours. I apologize for any times that I might have even a tiny bit questioned your questions. I apologize deeply. It won't happen again.
Look, man, I love you. Don't worry.
Thank you so much. Oh, damn! I should have clipped this for my. I'm gonna resend the tape for the FCL and clip this in. PJ loves me. PJ loves me. Okay, thank you so much. But no. Just to both of you, I got to thank you because John knows this, but I will say the Schmoedown, Schmoedown has gotten me through a lot, especially during the shutdowns and stuff like that. Because I've been stuck alone in this little apartment, and Toronto's still shut down. And you guys were talking about going to the theater, and damn it, do I miss going to the theater? I'm so jealous of the conversations you've been having. But having said that, so PJ, one of the things you said that you feel like is or not part of your job, but it's a perk of your job. There's sometimes you get to write questions and you get to push movies that you think don't get talked about, and that you love writing questions about those. So, so my question is, what are some of the movies you wanted to write about but you really can't because literally no one would know?
That's a fantastic question.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's kind of the horror stuff, like the Hammer horror specifically was one. Like that was when I saw even you were like Hammer horror came up in the in the match, and I was like, I've been waiting to ask Hammer questions forever. Even in the free for all, when I was writing the free for all last year, Christian was like, he saw one of them and he's like, really? And I was like, it's a free for all, and he goes, let's give him a chance. Like, all right, fine. Like, and I've got that kind of banter back and forth with him where it's like, all right, fine, I'll walk away from it. Like every once in a while, because again, it's the conversation of I know this stuff because I care about it.
Yeah, exactly.
No one else. So like, it's one of those things. So a lot of the time, stuff like that, or Creepshow 2, or even Bubba Hotep, like these movies that I watched a ton growing up, are not super popular. Like Bubba Hotep made no money in theaters. Like no one really knows it exists unless you're looking for it. And so it's one of those where I'm like, I could write questions about it. I could ask who plays the person who thinks they're JFK in the movie, but I guarantee you maybe Bibbs knows it.
I know it.
But the people,
I'm not going to say it out loud, but it's
huh? If I asked you who plays the man who thinks
Ozzie Davis.
JFK,
Ozzie Davis,
Ozzie
is
Davis.
that right? Yeah.
I got
it. Put me in, coach. Put me in.
And that's it, man. Like that for me. Those are the ones where I'm like, I want to do that, but I don't want to fuck anyone over. At least I'm honest. Like I don't want to fuck anyone over.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Because I'm hoping, and I know it's never going to happen. I'm hoping you ask a question about the 1971 or 2. I can't remember right now. Film Cold Turkey.
Okay.
Yeah. It's with Dick Van Dyke. It's about a whole town that quit smoking. It's never gonna get asked, but I'm hoping.
I love Dick Van Dyke, man. I'll say, like, I don't. I mean, obviously the question didn't get asked, but like I grew up watching a lot of like Andy Griffith and Dick Van Dyke, and so one of the questions in family horror that I had that I was hoping would get hit was about Ghost and Mr. Chicken, because
I love that movie.
Don't even. Is that Don Knotts? Don Knotts Ghost and Mr. Chicken. Don't fuck with me. I know Don Knotts. Fucking hell.
Rocha, you're like me. You know that stuff.
Yeah,
I love that stuff. Yeah.
I knew Bubba Hotep. That's easy. Bubba Hotep's easy. Bubba Hotep is easy. Yeah.
And that's it. Like it's about having to take myself out of it, and I'm like, well, I guess this question about Halloween 6 may not be something that I should be asking because maybe I know it, but no one else is going to.
I keep waiting for a 5-pointer from the incredible Mr. Limpet, but it doesn't come yet. I keep waiting for it.
Oh God, yes.
Remember when he becomes a fish?
Yeah, that's right. Half of it is animated, half of it is live action.
Yes,
so where do you put that?
One of my favorites. That all. Do you remember when Richard Linklater almost remade that? By the way,
yes,
he was doing that a couple of years ago.
Yeah, he was kicking it around.
That would have been
crazy.
Wild.
Richard Linklater, that would have been a trip. Because so I like whenever I watch those 5-pointers, I'm like, oh God, let it be one of those weird ones.
I will say this, and it's one of the things about playing the game, because it really is a Russian roulette, because we all have questions we want to be asked about from movies that we want to show off that we know. And I remember in what was it, the one where I almost died? What was that pay-per-view? Collider, is it no, it's Schmoedown Spectacular last year.
Yeah.
What do you mean you almost died?
Well, I had the bronchitis and shit.
Oh, died. Yeah. Sorry.
It was 2019 Spectacular.
2019 Spectacular, right.
Because I came up in yes.
It's crazy to think we're almost 2 years from that goddamn moment. But anyway, I remember that I had been waiting for an enemy mine question for years. 4 years I had been waiting for an enemy mine question. And when it came up in sci-fi, Dan looked at me and he goes, I got no idea. I was like, I got this one, Danny boy. Enemy mine. And I was so excited that it came up that it made me climbing out of bed, shivering in my shower, dumping cold medicine so I could survive the match. Worth it just so I could ask the enemy mine question. And that's the obstacle course I had to navigate just to be able to answer that question. So I was like, that's the price I had to pay.
Literally drag Rocha in underneath like coats and blankets so no one knew he was there. Jesus. That was a whole situation.
Oh, that's right. They had you come up and get me. That's right.
Oh, wow.
I had to smuggle you in. It was like I carry you, but I had to literally smuggle you in, and there was people like buying food, and it was like no one say anything. And we walked in because we had gotten downstairs, and this fan had found the bathroom downstairs. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And you walked in because you were like, I need a second, and you walked in, and right as you did, the fan came out, and you looked at him and you went, "If you say anything."
Look, it's true. I got no shame telling the fans what's what. Because you guys don't know this, but Jeff Snyder came in while I was sitting in the wings about to come up, and he was trying to fuck with me, and I said, and I turned around and looked at him, and I said, "Get the fuck out of here. I will stomp your nuts into the wall. Get the fuck out of here." He's like, all right. He walked down. I've never yelled at Jeff like that, but that's our relationship where I can have that moment, and Jeff's totally cool with it because he knows how irritating he can be. But he was trying to fuck with me. He was just like, "Oh, look who's back! Look who's here! Get the fuck out of here!" So I remember saying that to the fan, I think, but it sounds like me for sure.
I wonder if he's a patron now.
Maybe.
We'll ask. Hey, anybody remember this? Or you scarred somebody for life, John.
Well, it's a price you pay. You mess with a situation. Well, all right, got any more questions there, Royko, or are we good to go?
I just want to say thank you so much to both of you, and I can't wait to. I do have a question. This is hypothetical. Okay. So I have this friend. He's called the Rule Breaker. And he's got a match against this guy called the Middle Management.
Are you promoting another trivia match?
No, I'm just asking PJ. So in this hypothetical match, what should my friend the Rule Breaker be studying? That's all I'm asking.
Well, hypothetically, everything.
Everything.
Hypothetically, everyone has a list of all the categories, so they can know anything that can pop up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'll let him know. Okay.
You let him or her know. Absolutely.
Him or her know. That's right. Exactly. All right. See you guys.
Thank you for the kind words, my friend.
Good to see you, brother. That's Royko hanging out with us. He's one of my patrons here. I always love him coming on. He's trying to get into the FCL. He submitted a video, so I'm waiting for this engagement euphoria to die down on Gilmore for a little bit, and then I'm going to reach out to him.
Perfect time we do it.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe we just go, hey, look. We want him in.
Yeah. All right. If you can make that happen, I'll
text him later. I'll be like, Brad, look, I like this dude. He's a good dude. Give him a shot.
Yep. Give him a shot. He's going to irritate the piss out of you, but give him a shot. Let's see here. Let's see if we got any more. Oh, we got one from Chris Taylor says, to the Outlaw Nation, go watch PJ Campbell's network content. The Sunday unwinds and the watch-alongs are always a fun time. Yeah, talk about your network a little bit, PJ. I would be remiss not to have you on here and have you not talk about your network. So please, talk to the fans about your network.
We just, my whole thing came from my love for movies, right? And I wanted to do stuff that wasn't really going on. And I think a big part of it was once everything shut down, I think people forgot like watching movies with friends was fun. And so one of the things I wanted to do was we started doing watch-alongs, and we've done over 100 now.
Wow.
Year, which is crazy. And we just have fun like hanging out, and we commentate a little bit. Like we're giving our thoughts, but it's also kind of like you and I. We bullshit. It can kind of go anywhere. Like the conversation's not necessarily about the movie, but sometimes it is, just depending on the situation. And I enjoy doing that, but we do other cool stuff. The Unwind is great. The Unwind is kind of my ode to the last days of the original Schmoes and Collider Live era and things like that, where it's just kind of dick around and you hang out for 2 hours at the end of the week because we've all gone through stuff, man. So let's just like kick back a little bit. We hang out. If you haven't checked out Suddenly Soundtracks, it's been run by Chris Clark. It is brilliant. Rocha, I know you've been on it in the past.
Yes.
Greatest Showman.
This is great.
Chris is great. That show is fantastic. Box is our ode to unboxing videos and Curb Your Enthusiasm. That's run by Ron and Maxwell and Kristen Smith, and that one's really fun. Like, I want it to be a place where people can just go and have fun. You know me. I want people to have a good time. I want people to be optimistic about things, and I'm trying to bring that like levity and positivity back to the space because I think that. Unfortunately, and I don't mean to be like, man, I hate honest trailers, and I don't hate honest trailers. We know a lot of good people who work on those honest trailer things. Or there's a couple of those, like, you know, how it should have ended and stuff. It always feels very pessimistic to me. And I think that unfortunately people don't understand satire, and so it's ruined discussion around movies. I miss discussion. Like, you don't have to agree if people don't like something or you don't, however it is. Yeah. But I miss the conversation, and I think that satire has unfortunately become reality. And I'm trying to like pull the curtain back on that and be like, nah, like let's go backwards. Like let's find the good in things, and like if you don't like it, that's fine, but let's have the conversation. Like, let's talk. And just it matters to me. I want people to feel like what they like matters. I think that people get caught up in it, man.
That's a great point, man. Yeah, I agree with you. You know, I think starting the show with me and Wendy on Fridays is my way of kind of doing that as well. Very positive, uber fun show. We're talking all kinds of madness from the week, and also some gaming stuff, what's trending on Twitter and all that. It was just my way, because I mean, the politics show can be a bit heavy on Thursday nights to do with Dorina. I think it's still an important show to do, and we'll see how long it lasts on the network. But it certainly was on my network, rather, certainly something that I wanted to do to get out of my system a little bit. But I do sense that, you know, people are kind of talked out with that kind of stuff. People want to kind of, you know, focus back on being positive because the world out there is going crazy. So are they looking for a place to lay their shield down and their armor down and their swords down? And so if you're creating a bunch of content that's positive and fun and playful, that's important. That's essential. And I know you're building from the ground up. So, and you know, I am too. So I respect it madly, seeing what you're creating. And you've got some great fucking logos over there for sure. But you got to get rid of that Maxwell guy. I don't know what you're doing with that Maxwell guy.
He's waiting for us to get you guys in one of those bootleg exhibitions again.
No way. That kid hasn't even fought in a match. Has he been in the FCL? Has he had a match in the FCL?
I can neither confirm nor deny if something is on the books.
All right, we'll see how he does on the FCL. Then maybe I'll consider it. I mean, I need maybe I need a sparring partner for getting ready for Ben. So why not? I'll take on good old Max. Does he know there are no Broadway questions in the Schmoedown? Does he know there are no? Okay, I just want to make sure he knows there are no Broadway questions.
He's ready to go at any time, my friend.
I'm sure he is. He wants to ride the coattails of my fame. Sorry, it's not going to happen. All right, let's bring in one live here. Tushka, what's going on, dude? How are you, brother, man?
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
What's going on, man?
PJ, what's going on, brother?
It's good to see you, man. How you doing?
Yeah, doing well, man. Thank you for coming on the Outlaw Nation.
Hey, it's great to see you. Anytime Rocha is like, hey, you want on? I'm always willing to come hang out.
It's very kind.
Hey, seriously, if you want to come on our Discord, let us know.
I will come and hang out with you guys in the Discord.
Totally.
Dude, hey, Outlaw Nation, y'all heard it. It's coming. It is. Okay, so as Rocha could probably tell you off screen, we have such an incredible team that is actually like getting him prepared day in and day out, week in and week out. And we have spreadsheets on top of spreadsheets, formulas that are communicating with other spreadsheets.
Don't give away too much. Don't give away too much.
I'm not giving away too much. I'm not telling them the formulas. I'm just letting them know that we got spreadsheets.
Sean, tell them to stop talking.
Shut up.
Yeah.
What's in the Discord stays in Discord. Be quiet.
Yeah. Come on, man.
Yeah. But seriously though, like, so I mean, we have such a great team. I've got to give them a huge shout out. Okay. But whenever you're writing questions, and I'm sure, like, you know, that's a big question you always get, unfortunately. But whenever you're writing questions, I mean, like, there's times you're intentionally trying to trick people, trying to trip them up. But how much of your actual watch history are you pulling from? And do you post it on Twitter and or Letterboxd?
I mean, you can always see the stuff I'm doing. I tend to post what I'm watching, but there's is there times that sometimes I do come up with stuff when I'm watching? Yes. But it's actually, I try not to do that because I don't want to be that obvious. Kalinowski tried to call me out on that once, and I was like, you think that that's how it was? But I had that question written because I know those movies so well. I think it was like a Lethal Weapon question last season or something. It was in studio before we had moved out of it for all this. And he was like, I see you. And I was like, you think you see me? You don't see me.
You can't see me.
Right.
Yeah, you can't see me. Exactly. I'm like the shadow. You don't see me unless I want to be seen.
All right. Easy. I like Malcolm. Okay.
No, I know. I always am marveling at people, players rather, who think, "Oh, I've cracked it. I'm on their letterbox. I'm going to use this as a basis for study." And it's like, we can try all kinds of madness, but you never know what the hell what's going to come up. You never know what's going to be asked. And my crackpot team, who prepared so much, didn't bother to ask me the director of Bad Times at El Royale. So, you just never know what's going to slip through the cracks, what's going to show up. So for all the crackpot team, they're still able to miss something. So you just never know, no matter how much you studied, no matter how much you claim that you figured this out, you just never know what's going to show up, because you also don't know what Abigail's watching, what your other question writers are watching. You have no idea exactly what they're exactly watching. So where those influences are going to come from question wise. So I think it's just a crapshoot. The best you can do is be as prepared as possible on the day of and hope the questions fall your way,
Yeah.
I
mean, look, it's like anything else, right? It's the luck of the wheel and the luck of that third round.
That's
the
right.
number. It's the magic box, man. You don't know.
And I don't want to piss off my crackpot team. I also give them credit that I had 3 TKOs, which I've never had in a row to start the season. I think they're a big part of that as well. So, it's a balance. It's always a balance, PJ. Anything else, Tushka, that you want to give away? Any other trade secrets for the love of God?
Yeah. You can find us at. No, actually, on a real front, personal front. I truly love you all, both of you, breaking down, or just being open, really, as far as the process of going through therapy, because I cannot imagine. I mean, I go through enough stuff as being a small business advisor for a tribe, but for being exposed, being online, being in an online community, there's a lot of bullshit y'all got to deal with. Yeah. And and for some of you being aspiring actors, writers, producers, and key grips and everything of that, just being in the industry, there's a lot of bullshit that's innately involved in that. And so much love. And I even said in the super chat, because they take 60%. Is that right? That's bullshit.
50%. Yeah.
50. Yeah. Well, I didn't say. It's whatever. Fuck you, YouTube. We love you.
You said it on the Streamlabs. You sent a Streamlabs in.
I sent a Streamlabs. Yeah. No, I did. Yeah. I've had a couple more of these.
Oh boy.
But
there it is.
But no, but seriously though.
Sean, get over there and stop him. Yeah, but go ahead.
Yeah. Bring the fourth wheel in. But seriously though, huge credit to you, because this is what really matters. The game is phenomenal. We all enjoy it. We love the story. We love the sport. But the reality, for me at least, is what really I sink my teeth into, because that's the actual person.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the facade. It's these individuals right here in this room. It's not the ones that are there on the Friday night, live stream. So thank you guys so much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you, because there's very few people, I think, sometimes that remember that there's real people behind this stuff. And that's the big thing that we also have to work on. Fans sometimes forget, there's actual people and actual feelings and actual emotions and shit behind all this. And they get so caught up in they think they can be on our level, but they also don't realize, they don't know us. They don't realize that there's stuff going on in people's lives. And that's why it hits. That's why it cuts. You never know. So it's about being respectful. So, hats off to you for actually, thinking about it.
Yeah, definitely. I'll still give you shit in the chat, but thank you so much for that. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Dishka. Appreciate it too. Good seeing you, my man.
Much love.
Much love, dude. Yeah, he's absolutely right. There's human beings, and everybody's involved in this, and we all kind of carry it. And I don't care how tough you think that your favorite competitor is. We're all basket cases behind the scenes. I'm telling you right now, I've seen every single person behind the scenes kind of question themselves, kind of worry about certain things. Even the supposed GOAT has had his moments of questioning himself before he walks out there to play. So everyone has it. It's just the game, because you never know. You never know what they're going to ask and what's going to come up.
Yeah.
And you're doing the best you can in the situation, and having a little perspective to just have fun with it. Remember how fun it was is always a positive for everybody who's playing right now. I send that out to you and to you rookies as well. Remember to have fun. That's really the number one thing. And
always have fun. When it stops being fun, it's time to reevaluate and feel what's going on with you. And I really mean that. I have seen too many of my friends who forget the fun. And that's the moment you need to take a step back and figure out what's going on with you, because you don't want to lose that. And I say that out of love for the dude next to me, because I know he's been in that place.
Yeah.
And it's about sitting down and figuring out why is it that way? And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going back to ground zero and starting fresh.
Yeah. Absolutely. Certainly this season feels like it for sure. All right, let's wrap it up there. PJ, you've been so gracious with your time. Thank you for taking 2 hours to hang out with me and the Outlaw Nation tonight on the Outlaw Nation Show. Dude, we love you. Couldn't appreciate it more. Please tell people where you're at. Plug everything you got going on. Let the people know what you got going on in your world, my friend.
Hey, man. Well, number one, I will always be here whenever you ask. I love you. I love the nation. So thank you guys for having me come back. It's just, I like being here, man. It's a lot of fun. And I just miss you. You're my friend, and I can't wait to fucking hug you again. And
hell yeah.
So
it's been so
with that,
long, brother. I agree.
It's so fucking long. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at PJ_Campbell. You can find me over at the PJ Campbell Network. We do watch-alongs. We do all sorts of really cool stuff. Come and hang out. Check it out. We have a Patreon if you want to sign up for that. There's all sorts of cool little tiers and things like that. So come check it out. Maybe there's something there for you. And of course, you can find me at the Movie Trivia Schmoedown. Hey, I write the questions over there. It's like we're talking about that tonight. Be nice to the writers. We're only human. That is always my sign-off. We are only human.
That's awesome. Well, thanks, PJ. I'll let you go, brother. Feel free to go on with your night. I'm going to wrap up here with the nation and then over the next few minutes. So thanks again for the great 2 hours. And brother, love you.
Anytime,
so great to see you, man. And looking forward to the time we can hang out again in person.
Yeah, my friend. Next time. Love you.
Love you. All right, that was PJ Campbell hanging out with us tonight here on the Outlaw Nation for the Outlaw Nation Show. So much love to that man. I really do. He came in as a fan. Someone I kept seeing all the time, and someone who I enjoyed his conversation. And then I just kind of eventually we became friends. And he's someone who I looked forward to seeing whenever I would show up to do a match, or he'd show up for any matches that were going on. Now to see how he's progressed through his life, through his divorce, through his moving out of LA, his embracing the next stage of his life is truly an inspiration. And I want nothing but the best for PJ. One of the best bright lights going on in the world today. Is truly a man full of positivity and someone you'd be honored and blessed to call your friend. So I was very honored he hung out with us for a couple hours. I'm very honored all of you hung out with us for a couple hours tonight on the Outlaw Nation Show. Thank you so much for your Streamlabs and your Super Chats tonight. Don't forget, as I said, the programming going on tomorrow, New Geek Buddies. Tomorrow, The Jedi Way. Thursday, Impolite Truths. Friday, we've got John and Wendy Explain the World. Saturday is Strong Style and the Ultimate Schmoedown After Show. And littered throughout the rest of the week will be trailer reactions and reviews for movies that have come out. If I get to see Army of the Dead tomorrow in a theater, you will get a review of that on Thursday morning for sure. All right. Thank you to Sean Barreto for producing the show. Appreciate it, Sean. Thanks, bud. And also, as I said, thanks to all of you. And please remember, as PJ and I spoke about, therapy, getting back in touch with yourself, doing what is best for yourself, taking mental health breaks is so important. So whatever you need to do to get through the next second, next minute, next hour, next day, next week, next month, next year, I want you to do it, because you never know what's waiting for you on the other side. And if you just find your way to be able to put one foot in front of the other as you walk through the dark valleys, Trust me, the light is waiting for you on the other side, and you never know what the world can show you. If you don't want to use me an example, look at PJ and him. That divorce really leveled him. To see him pick himself up, climb back up out of that hole, and be in the great place he's now in his life should serve as a reminder for all of you that there is possibility for more if you just find your way through it and do the work to get through it. All right. I love you, Nation, Outlaw Nation. Love you for life. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. And we'll talk to you next time with another brand new live episode of the Outlaw Nation Show next Tuesday. Get vaccinated, wear your mask, practice social distancing, and be safe out there. Peace.